Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is May 13th of 2026. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears that CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage a Chinese weaponized airborne biological contagion outbreak targeting U.S. President Donald J. Trump and/or members of his entourage and staff while abroad for a state summit meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing, China, on the date of May 14th or May 15th of 2026, specifically to spawn a second global biological pandemic. This impending outbreak will subsequently be blamed, as COVID was, on the Chinese government as pretext for an escalating international crisis designed to trigger World War III. Coincidentally, the date of May 14th marks exactly 3 days since U.S. President Donald J. Trump stated that the ongoing Iran war negotiations were on quote-unquote life support, which was specifically designed to foreshadow the notion that Donald J. Trump himself will be put on life support in the aftermath of suffering some sort of contagion outbreak. Coincidentally, also, the date of May 14th, aside from being the 78th anniversary of the creation of the apartheid and genocidal state of Israel, marks exactly 2,349 days since the CIA staged the COVID-19 outbreak, allegedly emanating from an biological laboratory in Wuhan, China, back on December 8th of 2019. The number 2349 contains the number 24, which equates to the letter X, which is known internationally as the symbol of death, as well as the number 49, which equates to DI as a die in the English alphabet, which suggests that the CIA is in fact planning a biological outbreak on this particular numerology. The date of May 14th also marks 479 days since U.S. President Donald J. Trump became president of the United States back on January 20th of 2025. Of course, you have the number 49, which equates to DI as in die, and you have the number 47, which is indicative of the 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, who is slated to be killed under the guise of a weaponized Chinese biological outbreak. The notion that the CIA plans to stage a biological outbreak in China and then have it spread around the world was foreshadowed in the movie Contagion, starring numerous A-list Hollywood celebrities, where a plane, I believe, departing from Macau, China, begins to infect multiple locations around the world, and this is exactly what the CIA is planning to do. After Donald J. Trump is taken ill, he will be placed on Air Force One en route back to the United States, and then people around the meeting in Beijing, China will begin to get sick. And that is precisely why numerous celebrities have attended this historic meeting between Xi Jinping and Donald J. Trump in Beijing, China, because they want this to be a quote-unquote patient zero type celebrity driven biological outbreak. People who attended the meeting with Trump in Beijing, China include Elon Musk, former Apple CEO Tim Cook, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, CEO of Rockwell Collins, Kelly Oderberg, as well as BlackRock Chairman and CEO Larry Fink, Blackstone Chairman, CEO, and co-founder Steven Schwartzman, Cargill Chairman and CEO Brian Sykes, Citi Chairman and CEO Jane Fraser, Coherent CEO Jim Anderson, Geo Aerospace Chairman and CEO H. Lawrence Culp, Goldman Sachs Chairman CEO David Solomon, Illumina CEO Jacob Thaysen, MasterCard CEO Michael Maybach, Meta President and Vice Chairman Dina Powell McCormick, Micron Chairman, President and CEO Sanjay Mehrotra, Qualcomm President and CEO Cristiano Amon, and Visa CEO Ryan McInerney. Coincidentally, the date of May 14th marks exactly 29,188 days since Donald J. Trump was born. This has the 88 numerology, which is inherent to Switzerland and her Nazi CIA. Um, and it also, coincidentally, the date of May 14th marks 5 days since the CIA staged a gastroenteritis outbreak targeting 1,700 people aboard the cruise ship MS Ambition, while docked in the French port of Bordeaux, I believe. And so in the event of a second outbreak, it would mark 2 such outbreaks in 6 days. Of course, the number 26 equates to the letter Z in the English alphabet, which is an acronym for Zionism, and that is in fact the political motivation behind this impending outbreak designed to spawn a second global biological pandemic. This notion was also foreshadowed with the outbreak of the hantavirus on the MV Honduran or Honduras cruise ship in the Atlantic Ocean back on April 1st of 2026. So in the event of a second outbreak on the date of May 14th in Beijing, China, it would mark 2 such events in 44 days. Obviously, the number 24 equates to the letter X, which is known internationally as a symbol of death. And if you have 24 twice, that's 2 X's. And when you take 2 X's and you put them together, it forms a hexagram, which is coincidentally found on the Star of David on the flag of Israel. That is because the first Zionist state, known as Switzerland, who hosted the first ever Zionist Congress from August 29th through the 31st of 1787, I believe, in Basel, Switzerland, is going to create this second global pandemic versus the world, or via the World Health Organization, which is located in Geneva, Switzerland, home to the CIA, and they plan on getting a grand slam, if you will, off this particular event, because they will knock out U.S. President Donald J. Trump. They will spawn a second global biological pandemic, and then this pandemic will, of course, be used to trigger World War III between the United States and China. So this is what's on tap. Donald J. Trump currently today in Beijing, China, May 14th. It's roughly 8:30 in the morning, and he has a bunch of meetings. And I would surmise that at some point during the day, he will be taken ill, and the White House Air Force One doctors and the medical staff accompanying him will quarantine him, and then they'll try to keep it top secret. He will likely be transported back to the United States, and he will likely die en route from China to the United States. And then all the aforementioned CEOs and their respective staff and families will also allegedly be infected, and then they will depart back to their respective countries. So this is going to spread very quickly and very fast. It's going to be fake. The CIA has advanced technology, which we are unaware of, that basically targets humans with different frequencies. It's called a directed energy weapon. It can make people throw up. It can make people get seizures. It can make their nose bleed, their ear bleed. It can induce vomiting. It has all the symptoms of the so-called Havana virus, as well as death. They can instantly kill people. So this is going to be a satellite-borne virus, so to speak, targeting multiple people. And then the videos of this, of Donald J. Trump and other members of his staff and the people surrounding these important meetings in Beijing, China, will begin to circulate, and then they will subsequently blame the Chinese government for releasing this weaponized airborne biological contagion, and then they will pass draconian vaccine mandates, travel bans, and stay-at-home orders, and this will be basically COVID 2.0. Which is what the CIA has been desperately trying to execute. What's happening right now globally regarding the state of Israel is basically forcing them to basically lock everything down, because the genocide that Israel is continuing to inflict on its neighbors, namely Palestine and now Lebanon, is gone viral to the point where they are becoming a global pariah. And so the best way that they can stop this narrative is to basically stage a second global biological pandemic, and then use it to pass draconian censorship over social media and other media platforms in order to try to curb this. And then what better way is to blame China for some sort of virus when in fact it is all man-made, it is all concocted by the CIA with advanced technology. And then they will, of course, eliminate, starting with Donald J. Trump, their political enemies one by one. And of course, in this impending event, they will target numerous celebrities in ritualistic blood sacrifices, likely starting with a number of the CEOs that are going to be present at the meeting that are not on board with their particular program. And then they will move to celebrities such as Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Taylor Swift, Kim Kardashian, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Conor McGregor, LeBron James, etc., 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 and then murder them under the guise of this new Chinese virus in these satanic, ancient, esoteric, and ritualistic blood sacrifices. So just to recap, May 14th through the 15th of 2026, the U.S. is planning on staging a release of a weaponized biological airborne contagion targeting the presidential entourage of U.S. President Donald J. Trump, surrounding his historic summit with Xi Jinping in Beijing, China, which is scheduled to last the date of May 14th and May 15th. So as I stated in a previous video, Donald J. Trump will not land in the United States on May 15th in a healthy position. He will either be dead or in a coma or under anesthesia of some sort because he is going to be terminated. The CIA is desperately trying to bring about the presidency of J.D. Vance or the rise of a new dictator, American dictator known as Barack Hussein Obama. But in order to do that, they have to remove Donald J. Trump from power, and they plan on doing so with the release of a fake virus on the date of May 14th through 15th. So if this happens, if this comes to fruition in reality, I would kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets.